Welcome to Industry Talks with Forteck.
Yeah, thanks, Branden.
So we'll start off with introductions. So you want to introduce yourself? Lorne is owner of Carson Integrated and Lat 60 and Stonefish as well, I believe, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I've been in business now for 15 years. I started up in 2006. Been a professional forester in Alberta since 1999. But yeah, in 2006, I started up Carson Integrated, providing environmental and forestry consulting services to predominantly industry clients, oil and gas, forest industry, sand and gravel, those types of players. Really, any industry that works on crown lands in the province of Alberta, and we help to get approvals in place for any type of projects that they would be doing. And then I guess it was around 2010 or so that I became one of the partners at Stonefish Rentals as well, which is a rentals and industrial supply store based out of Athabasca. And yeah, similar thing. We work kind of all over northern Alberta, predominantly again with industrial clients, just servicing, providing rental equipment and services to them, however they need.
So today's topic is collaboration. So just wanted to start off, what does collaboration mean to you?
Well, it means working with like-minded people that have common interests, and in order to provide a higher level of service, a higher quality of service to our customers. In a long-term relationship where there's mutual benefits to both parties, or there could be more than two parties as well. So,
and I guess what do you believe the difference is between a joint venture and collaboration, and maybe just speak on, I guess, what's a joint venture and how is that tied to collaboration?
Yeah, I think they're both quite similar. Joint venture is a little more formal, I think, where you have a kind of a legally binding agreement on how you're going to act and that type of thing. But realistically, it's a form of collaboration, and if collaboration, you need to act the same way anyhow. Like you shouldn't need a legal agreement to tell you how you're going to behave or that type of thing. And if you do, then you're probably not going to be very successful in that collaboration. So I think the important part is that the people involved in the collaboration have good, strong relationships, open communication. They have conversations when times are good, and they have conversations together when times are a little tougher. And you shouldn't really need a legally binding agreement, but joint ventures are important as well. We've had joint ventures over the years as well. So I think there's a time and a place for each. But
yeah, and then just some history on us. So most know on this channel that I'm the CEO and founder of Forteck. So we were established in 2016. And we're primarily in the forestry and environmental space in Western Canada. So we operate in Alberta, BC, and Saskatchewan. A lot of our services are very similar or the same as yours in a lot of ways. So I guess the next thing that I wanted to touch on was just how long we've known each other, how we've worked together on projects in the past, and some of the successes we've had, and yeah, if you want to maybe touch on that.
Yeah, from my point of view, our relationship has been very successful. We've been working together now for probably just over 4 years, or around 4 years anyhow. And it works well because our companies, we have different strengths, I think, and we play to those strengths. Our company, like Carson Integrated, we're quite GIS focused, and we have professional forest planning staff that are more office based, and we've been able to really partner up with you guys who bring a lot of the field level expertise that we're lacking at times, and it works well because I think it allows us to share staff back and forth across multiple projects with multiple clients, and because oftentimes that's the real balancing act in the consulting world, is having the right amount of people for the amount of work that you have, and work comes and goes, and so you need to be able to to increase and decrease your staffing requirements accordingly, and to do that successfully. So that's what I think has been one of the real strengths of our relationship, is it's allowed us to do that. So,
Yeah, I think some of the main challenges we've had and consistently always have is just, yeah, exactly what you say, is being able to keep staff busy all the time. You want to keep your good guys with you, and if you don't have work for them at certain times of the year, then
yeah,
they're not gonna be able to keep them. So having opportunities to keep them working on joint projects and things like that to make it work for everyone, it has definitely been a benefit for us. So
yeah, I agree. I think that's one of the real strengths of the type of relationship our two companies have, is it allows us to do that. And I think for the most part, I mean, our clients know that we do that, and they're supportive of it. But I don't think it impacts them in a, well, it does. It impacts them in a positive way. It's allowed us to keep high quality people around for long term, which is exactly what our clients expect from us. So
yeah, and I think that every companies tends to have their ways that they typically do business. And I know that, like, I've picked up tricks of the trade, and you've been in industry a lot longer than me. So there's been some things that I've definitely learned working together with you. And I hope that we brought some additional value to you guys as well, in regards to just different ways of doing things and kind of integrating multiple processes into a way that can kind of benefit everyone and run smoothly and more effectively. So
yeah, absolutely. I think that's one of the real strengths is you guys have a certain type of expertise that we don't have, and you guys are always willing to share that with us, and we try to do the same back. So and we try to take that same approach with a lot of our suppliers, with our clients, and we've had like collaborations or partnerships or joint ventures, that type of thing, with Indigenous communities over the years as well. And I think that's one of the, in order to be successful in Alberta these days, I think that's one of the things that all companies have to be open to. So
yeah, for sure. What I don't know if you want to touch any more on how to collaborate successfully, some of the kind of do's and don'ts or anything, and then we were going to get into some of the challenges of collaborating in industry as well.
yeah, if I was to give some recommendations, I suppose it's just around open, honest communication is the biggest one. Is make sure that that we're on the same page with regards to expectations, and then communicate with each other regularly. And you need communication at multiple levels. Like, for instance, in our companies, you and I communicate regularly as needed and as appropriate. But then there's the people that work for us are communicating probably more frequently, like on a day-to-day basis and multiple times a day, as they work together on projects as well. And it's important that that ability exists, and that everybody in the company is working towards the same goals. So
Yeah, for sure. I think it takes a certain type of business owner or person, I think, to be able to want to work collectively with other companies. I know that I've had situations with other typically smaller consultants where they maybe are not as open to it. So I think that it's a good thing. I think that there's a lot of positives that can come out of it, and yeah, I hope that others can have success in collaboration as well.
Yeah, I find the same thing, that a lot of our competitors aren't open to collaborations. And really, for me, what I found over the years is we try to work with other companies that are similar size to us, type of thing, and it allows us to take on some pretty big projects at times that really on our own we'd have no right to be working on those projects. But if you can get together a few different companies that are all willing to work together, then you can take on some really interesting projects at times. So
Yeah, for sure. And then what are some of the challenges with working with others in the industry, other competitors or companies? We touched on a couple.
Yeah, it can get challenging at times, especially like in our relationship. It's this way, I guess, where we do provide very similar services, and so sometimes that can get a bit tricky. Is you have to recognize that in some situations you're collaborating and working together, and it could be at the exact same time that the two companies are bidding against each other on something else, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But that can get tricky at times. But I think it's totally fine to work that way. So it's to be expected.
Yeah. I think when like times get tough and things like that, that's when I see a lot more companies like clamping down or cutting things out and stuff like that. But when business is better or the industry is doing well, then there's usually a lot more opportunities for companies to work together to get jobs done. But I also do see, I know specifically when like times slow down or things like that, you see a lot of competitors coming in and just start slashing prices and doing different types of things. And then I think that can be one of the challenges for sure, is in hard economic times where guys need to fend for themselves or whatever. I think that's definitely the challenges for sure.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think that approach is generally the wrong approach to take. I think when times are tough, that's when it's important that you can find ways to work with other people. But I've definitely seen that as well when people get protective of their own turf and that type of thing. So
yeah, for sure. Awesome. Well, I've enjoyed working with you, and I think that we've done a lot of successful projects together over the years, and it's been a while now for sure. 2017, I believe, is when we first started our first project for you guys. So last thing I wanted to touch on in this is just what are some industry challenges that you see in the forest industry, environmental industry? I know you guys work in both as well. And what are some of the challenges, and then what do you see some of the biggest opportunities in the next 10 years?
Well, the challenges side, the one that I find seems to be right across the board these days is on human resources, is just finding enough qualified people to do the work. I think the forestry schools across Canada have had a lower enrollments over the last decade, or maybe even more than a decade, and it's starting to show that there's fewer and fewer people in industry available to work, and that's going to be a challenge because I find there's more and more opportunities in industry as well because of the enhanced amount of scrutiny on environmental performance and carbon, being carbon neutral and those types of things, which are all things that are very relevant to forest industry and foresters and that type of thing. So I think there's going to be a lot of work for us over the next 10 years, which is going to be the real opportunity. And then the biggest challenge is going to be finding good people to fill those opportunities. So.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with hiring and recruitment. I think it's very, we spend a lot of effort on it, and we consistently struggle with it too. So I know that finding the right people to do a good job that you can rely on and trust, and finding those people can always be a challenge, and I think more so in the future as well. I find, and it depends how things are going too. Like in the past, I've had issues where the oil field starts picking up or something, and then they might, like some of your good people might end up leaving because they might find like a pipeline job, doing some environmental inspecting, something like that directly, where they can make more money. Like in forestry, it's a very competitive industry, so it kind of taps out a specific spot traditionally, and that's some of the challenges that we've had, of just keeping good staff long term and competing with other industries that maybe pay more.
Yeah, the boom and bust cycle in the oil and gas industry can be really challenging, because when times are good, they do get splashy with money, and they'll throw it around at people, and it's tough to compete against some of the big oil and gas companies and that type of thing. When they want something done, they've got a lot deeper pockets than small companies like us have. So
I think definitely some of the opportunities, like you mentioned, is carbon and different types of environmental stuff, and I think it'd be a lot more work for the consultant companies like us. I think that I've seen situations in the States where they've shut down a lot of logging areas due to different types of wildlife features and things like that. So one thing that I do worry about in the logging industry is like large scale closures and things like that, which could definitely significantly impact like the actual mills and stuff like that. But I think on the consulting side, there'll be a lot more like a pivot towards environmental related stuff around that. And technology has a huge change, like it's been rapidly changing in our space. And
Yeah.
I know some companies are starting to utilize drones, and you guys are quite up on some of that. From my understanding, you've been doing some test stuff with it, and maybe you want to just touch on that at all?
Yeah, you're right that the technology side is one of the bigger challenges as well. It's just technology is moving so fast these days. So we've been trying out. Yeah, we've been doing some different things with drones and with high resolution imagery and LiDAR and that type of stuff, but also terrestrial LiDAR. We've been doing some research and development on using terrestrial LiDAR in order to improve quality and efficiency of like timber cruising programs and that type of thing. And the other one that I see that's coming, that's getting better and better all the time, is satellite imagery and the analysis of satellite data in order to provide forest inventories. And I think that's going to be a big thing in the future here as well. So, yeah. And it gets harder and harder because the data sets that we're working with just become larger and larger all the time. And trying to serve those data sets to people out in the field is a challenge. But it's something I think we're doing well. We do that well when we're working with you guys. Yeah. It seems to be one of our strengths compared to a lot of our competitors, I think, is getting GIS and spatial data and that type of stuff into the hands of the crews out in the field that are making real world decisions. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the days of large scale like ground plots and stuff like that are probably going to be slowly becoming obsolete. I know even with like block layout, for example, just transitioning to ribbonless, I mean that's quite a bit faster, right? So I think there's definitely a transition in the type of work that field staff will be completing. It might be more collect data and information through utilizing technology and then analyzing it and stuff, which potentially be more office related time. Yeah. But yeah, that's something that's definitely been unfolding in the last 5 years, and it will continue in the next 5. So
yeah, no, I agree.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate your time today. I'm not, if you have any other final comments or remarks, feel free. But if not, yeah, we had a good chat and really enjoyed our time working together and look forward to future ventures.
Yeah, me too. That'd be my final thoughts. Is just that our relationship's been good, and I expect it's going to continue to be good going forward. And I just look forward to the next 4 years as well. So
awesome. Thanks, Lorne.
Okay, Branden. Talk to you later.